Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another smartphone office video this time. Yeah, I had to do it down here. Yeah, the young men are upstairs, so yeah, they doing whatever. I said, shoot, I'll just come to the office. They say, yeah, you use the office. Anyway, every man must develop his own personal style of game. And of course, when I say game, for those who don't like that term, it just means your social strategy for getting women. Whatever social strategy. If you don't like that term game, use the word social strategy. If you don't want to use social strategy, whatever term you want to use. But every man has to have their own style. Now, I've talked about this before. But see, on IG, I saw this reel from this guy, and he was talking about two guys, and I should have saved it. I looked to see if I saved it. I didn't even save it. I should have saved it to give him some dap. And one of y'all might know who I'm talking about, but he was talking about these other two guys who had women who would just approach him. But see, one was 6'8", the other was 6'4". And yeah, they were going to have women approach them. And plus, they had cameras. We didn't see which women might have rejected them. Like when you see women or anybody talking to some women out in the street, they can't just walk up to them. They always have to say something. But see, that's something else. And even if it's a case of those men being approached, because you do have a few men being approached, every man can't do that. Every single man got to do what works for him. Like I've said this several times. I've had several men hit me up and say, "Yeah, Ron, we talking like Uncle Ron, we talking like you and trying to walk like you." First of all, you're not me. You're not me. First of all, when I walk, a couple people have described it as kind of militaristic, and I've had some people actually ask me if I was in the military. I wasn't, but that's my walk. And it works for me. It works for me. But then look at other stuff of just talking about myself. You can't be me. You can't be me. Because I'm me. I'm built a certain way. I'm a certain height, certain complexion, racial background, spiritual background, even though I don't discuss that publicly. Education level, everything. All of that goes into my social strategy, if you don't like that term, game. All of that goes into it, how I'm gonna approach things, how I'm gonna dress, my how I even the tone of my voice. All of that's going into which women I can get. And I've said it several times. I can't get every single woman. I couldn't get every single woman. I'm not even gonna try. The women I tend to get tend to be more highly educated, from a more, I would say, upper middle class background. Like a ratchet type, one that's from around the way, I don't do well with them. I don't do well with them. Never done well with them, and that's cool. Or a woman looking for some dude who, got his ears pierced or got a bunch of tattoos. I don't have any tattoos. And I'm not going to pierce my ears. And that's cool. But somebody who do might get that. See, the thing is, every single man has to understand that he has to understand his tribe. He has to understand what type of women he can get being himself. And he has to understand he's doing the game differently. Like, let's use that height thing, for example. That height thing. Now, this brother who he did that reel talking about these two guys who had women approaching them. Well, they extra tall. They in that 3% that's over 6'2". Yeah, they gonna get attention. Shoot, my 6'4" son who's upstairs, shoot, he gets a lot of women looking at him. He acting like they don't. But he's more quiet. He can have that. Meanwhile, my 5'9" son who's upstairs, he got to be a little bit more aggressive. See, one of the things you got to figure out is what works for you. And as I've talked about this before, I've used the example of basketball. Everybody don't have the same game. You can get some guys, they can just shoot that jumper. And I don't know who won last night. I really don't. I ain't even in the NBA, so I ain't even going to comment on that. But you get some guys, they can shoot that three-pointer. Some guys got to go to the hoop. Some guys got to just get that offensive rebound. Some guys can play defense. Now, it's still the same general thing of the game, but everyone has a different game. Everyone has a different style. Like even when I talk about style, everybody can do different. Like if let's say this thing about man against woman. If somebody's 6'3", he might look corny if he's acting all pressed to get women. He's acting all friendly. He's all up in a woman's face. He's even being simpish. He gonna look corny. Meanwhile, that 5'3" guy might could get away with the same thing if he's showing it. Because see, here's the thing with it. Every man's going to have different game because women are going to look at every man differently. A woman is not going to look at me the same way she's going to look at some dude from the hood who's got some tats and all of that stuff, looking all rough. That ain't going to happen. Yeah, I can hang out in the hood. If I had to pick up a hood woman for whatever reason or deal with, I still can. But my most natural is a more educated woman. For those in the black community, AKA types. When I talk about my co-parent, she's an AKA. When I look at the women I get along with best, AKAs. And if I got to explain what an AKA is, you're not in the black community. Don't worry about it. Look it up. AKA, okay? Look it up. But that's who I get along with best. And even if I deal with women of other races, like I've dealt with some Japanese women. Both of them had dual degrees. Those are the type of women I can deal with the best. Those are women. Now, I've had some other types, but when I look at, if I had to say what type of women find me the most attractive, that will go for my game or my social strategy, for those who don't like the word game, it's the more educated types. It's the ones educated types, creative types, women of that nature. Women of that nature. But not every single woman is going to go for it. What every single man has to do is figure out first who he is. He has to figure out who he is, what he like, what his social class is, what he has to do, and then he has to figure out, okay, what works best for him. Because what works best for him is not going to work best for me. I mean, it just is, and I always talk about that. And I think I recorded a video talking about the same. I got so many videos on here. But you have to figure out what's good for you. Don't worry about it. Now, if you see something working for somebody else, don't think that's going to work for you. Because that was the main thing this young man was discussing in this reel. Your ass ain't 6'4". If your ass ain't 6'4", 6'8", it ain't going to work the same for you. If your ass is 5'8", then you got to do something different. In fact, there was another young man, and he was 5'3", and he knew it. He said, well, you know what, he engages in body game, and I'm going to get into that in a second. So he got a good body, he dresses well, and speaks well. Because he know he got to do it. He got to compensate for just being 5'3". And even when I talk about body game, what have I been saying? You got to figure out which body works best for you. Every woman, she don't want like that super lean guy. Or every woman don't want that brolic guy. Every woman don't want that real muscular guy. Hey, some women like a little bit of a gut on a guy. Every woman likes something different. And don't be like, and see, some guys get into like, well, only attractive women. Well, hold up. First of all, the only women going to be good for you are the women who like it. I don't care what she look like. I don't care what she look like. You gotta do that. And then here's the problem though. Don't try to be like some other man. Because that other man getting something, but that's based on who he is. Like I said, I had one son, he's 6'4", the other son's 5'9". Now they get different type of women looking at them. And that's it. They good with it. They good with what they do. The older son quiet. He let the women come to him more. The younger son, he got to be a little bit more aggressive. And they shoot the younger son, the one really getting more women. Everybody got to be to something different. Or even being aggressive or more introverted. Some dudes can get away with being like that mysterious thing. That's a part of their personality. Some dudes got to like go out there a bit more and do it. You have to see, here's the thing. You have to figure out your world. You have to figure out what it works best for you. Not me. Not me. You can't be me. You could try to be me, but you ain't seen the whole picture. Because one of the things, okay, like with myself, one of the things women like about me, they like my eyes. I've been hearing that consistently, even before I got into body game. I've been hearing that consistently. They like my eyelashes, how I look at them, everything. Somebody else might not have those eyelashes. So a woman, she's attracted to me for something physical about me, but that might not be the same for you. You got to look at what you got to work with. You got to look at what you dealing with. And then you can work from there. And then see which type of women. Like I said, and you got to say, okay, which social class? Where you living at? Which racial group? Which nation? Which ethnic group? Which religion? You got to look at all of that stuff before you get caught up into anything else. And this is very important, but it's your game, it's your style. Like one guy, he might could walk down the street just wearing like a t-shirt showing his muscles. The other guy might have to dress up a bit more. And remember, I'm famous for saying a woman will suck a man's dick based off his shoes. But some men, they can get away with looking like a bum. But that might be the area he in. Like I remember, I never forget this woman when I was leaving a store one time, got in my car, and there was a guy in the car. He was in a passenger seat, and he was like, and then a woman's head came up. Now he looked like he was like some upper class dude. He looked like just some regular, not even a 9-to-5 dude, to be honest. But then that's the type, he got the type of woman. You got to figure out what it is that work for you. Well, not even work for you. You got to figure out who you are first. Where you comfortable at. And then deal with the women who fit into that. You basically got to stay in your lane. And I've said this numerous times on numerous videos. Might even have a sit-down video coming next week. Like I said, I'm saying the same thing. But it's very important for a man. You can't be like that next man. That next man got something, it works for him. But it might not work for you. And you can't say, well, I want to be like him. No, you can't be like him. You can only be yourself. I want y'all to think about that, all right? So anyway, yeah, got one more thing got to do. Like they got to fix up around the house. Like I said, that you get a water main break or water pipe break. There's always something. So anyway, though. Yeah, I know. Usually I don't be doing anything on the weekends. I ain't going to get started. Other than my Sovereign Saturdays. Always check that out. Because that's my, look, let me just say something about that real quick. If I had my druthers, that'd be the main thing about a man just having control in his life. like the relationship thing, yeah, that's what people pay attention to. But that's personally, that's not really my main thing any damn way. To me, well, in my perspective, women easy. But having control over your life isn't as easy. So definitely check out my Sovereign Man videos and then my inspirational stuff on Sundays. And real quick about that, don't ask me any game questions or on Sundays. I can't stand that. Some people think they slick asking me some question or something on that day. And they notice I never answer. I never answer them. Sunday's a neutral day. Look, it's all about inspiration. Inspired to do what you're supposed to do. You got all week to ask me questions about game or social strategy, whatever you want to use. Or you have my contact information in the description box. All right? I want to be clear about that because that's one thing I can't stand on Sundays. And one of the reasons I do that is I kind of want to chill on Sundays. I don't want to be answering any serious game questions or going through somebody's shit. It don't work that way. Because personally, I think somebody be slick like that because they say, oh, well, hey, there's many people comment. Maybe I'll get his attention. Yeah, you'll get my attention. Block, delete. Usually just delete. But whatever the case, weekends, Saturdays is all about being that sovereign man. Sundays about being inspirational. If you want to catch me about anything, hit me up privately. All right. Like I said, the information's in the description box. All right. So anyway, whatever the case, yeah, have a good weekend, and I'll get back with y'all. Yeah, Monday. It'll be. I don't know. I don't know. It'll be a video like this or a car video. Y'all will get something extra, all right? Anyway, I'll holler at y'all. You have a good weekend. Peace.